DC the boys, Alabama Prisoner Profiles. What's going on with y'all, man? Make sure y'all like, sub, share, comment, hit that Cash App and that PayPal up, and hit that little join button and become a member of the channel for $2 a month, man. What you talking about? Say, man. So this past weekend, y'all, was the channel's inception anniversary, man. I believe I put the first video up last year around the 28th or something like that. Trying to at least double the subs for the next year, man. I appreciate everybody who's been riding and all the new people y'all know going on. Also, this past weekend was the kids' birthday, you know what I'm saying? I turned 31, you know what I'm saying? So, turned the F up, you know what I'm saying? Families, friends, loved ones, freaks, you know what I'm saying? The guys, we was all turned, you know what I'm saying? So, appreciate all the birthday wishes in advance, and for the one or two fans I met out of the show, y'all know what's going on. Appreciate y'all. Feel free to hit the goddamn Cash App up, right? Now today, I'm going to be bringing y'all this excerpt here about a recent tour that was given on the new $1 billion facilities being constructed in Elmore County. Let's hop right into that right now. Elmore, Alabama. Off Highway 143 in rural Elmore County, the Alabama Department of Corrections is building a small town. On 300 acres behind its tall chain-link fence, some of the more than 4 dozen two-story buildings that will make up the 4,000-bed, $1.08 billion prison are starting to take shape. A 1 million-gallon water tank is up near what will be the main entrance. Water and sewer lines have been buried. Hundreds of miles of electrical conduit are being run to housing units where 256 men will live in 2-person cells. Eventually, the electrical lines will power in each unit a central monitoring station where officers will have direct lines of sight down 4 corridors for inmates. There will be video cameras and electronically locking cell doors that officials promise will make this site much safer and more manageable than the state's existing major prisons. Within many units will be educational space, and separate vocational training facilities are planned. On any given weekday now, around 500 construction workers are there. This summer there will be more. In one corner, on a recent Thursday, several workers were casting the concrete cells. Dozens of them were stacked and waiting to be trucked and placed by cranes into their slots into the housing units currently popping up from the dusty soil that a few years ago was woods and farmland. When operational, the new prison will have a larger population than about 75% of Alabama's communities. Jesus. According to the census data compiled by the Alabama League of Municipalities. It will be about the size of Geneva in Dale County, or Haleyville in Winston County, or Citronelle in Mobile County. The new prison will be the state's hub for inmate mental health and medical care. There will be GED education, workforce skills training, substance abuse, and faith-based programs. About 800 of the beds will be in the medical and mental health units. Another 600 to 700 will be for minimum security prisoners, many of whom will work within the prison washing the hundreds of pounds of dirty laundry generated each day or preparing 12,000 meals daily. The rest of the cells will be medium and maximum security. It will be the intake center from which ADOC will ship prisoners to other older facilities. Dang, so that's going to be the new Kilby. For the $1 billion investment, the Alabama Department of Corrections is getting a modern facility that will be 75% cells and 25% barrack-style dorms. Right now, nearly 80% of the state's prisons are the dorms where hundreds of inmates are watched by just a few officers. Quote, "That means with the correctional staff we have, we can better manage that population," unquote, Alabama Department of Corrections Commissioner John Hamm told Alabama Daily News on a recent tour of the prison site. Now about 25% complete. Alabama Daily News requested the visit. Prison staff, of which weren't there, are getting a safer work environment, and inmates are getting better care and educational opportunities, and that's better for the public, Hamm said. Because many of the inmates will eventually leave this town-sized prison, and their goal is they never come back, said Hamm. He was the second in command at the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency in 2021 when Governor Kay Ivey appointed him head of the Alabama Department of Corrections. Quote, It's going to improve the opportunities for the inmates that are getting out, unquote. Ham said about the new prison, quote, and improve the opportunities for those staying in, just so they have some hope. Because when they start losing hope, that's when we start having problems. Niggas been lost hope, Ham. Y'all been having problems, you know what I'm saying? More than a prison. After several years of failed attempts, including a lease-to-own option in 2021, Alabama lawmakers and Ivy passed legislation and a $1.2 billion spending plan for this and another 4,000-bed prison in Escambia County. The original estimate on the Elmore site was $623 million, though Ham said that was based on earlier concepts when the state considered leasing rather than building. Quote, there were court-ordered items that weren't in that price, he said, quote, not all of the increase was inflation, but a lot of it was, and the available workforce was low, so that drove the price up. The $1.08 billion comes from the combination of state funding, including a $400 million chunk of the state's American Rescue Plan Act allocation and loans. The price is eye-popping, but not unheard of these days. In 2022, Utah opened a 3,600-bed prison that cost over $1 billion. Indiana did the same thing last fall with a $1.2 billion 4,200-bed prison. Quote, it is more than a prison. It's a mental health facility, and it's a medical facility, and a prison. Shit. Said Senator Clyde Chambliss of Prattville, Republican. He's chairman of the Legislative Prison Oversight Committee. The new prison is in his district, quote, and not just a hospital, but a hospital where every room is secure, unquote. Man, these folk bragging about basic shit that a prison should be, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna have respectable, you know what I'm saying, facilities. Like, in 2017, a federal judge ruled that Alabama's horrendously inadequate care of mentally ill inmates violated the United States Constitution ban of cruel and unusual punishment. Southern Poverty Law Center in 2014 sued the Department of Corrections over conditions within the prisons, lack of medical and mental care. District Judge Myron Thompson ordered and then extended the order of the Department of Corrections increased staffing. Despite increases in salary, that remains a struggle. As of the end of 2023, the Alabama Department of Corrections had a total security staff of 1,804 and has seen some slight gains thanks to improved pay and department recruiting efforts. Still, a March court filing said the department is still 2,000 officers short of adequate staff. Oh, God. And that at this current pace, quote, it will take until the end of 2037 to satisfy this court's order, unquote. You kidding me? As impressive and expensive as the new prison will be, lawmakers like Senator Greg Albritton, Republican from Elmore, note that the Alabama Department of Corrections and the state's long-standing prisons problems won't vanish in May 2026 when it opens. Quote, this is only the beginning, Albritton told us. Quote, this is the first down payment, if you will. This will resolve a great deal of major issues, but it's not going to solve all the problems. We have a long way to go, but at least we have a plan. At least we're working on following that plan, unquote. A potential conundrum. This area of central Alabama knows prisons. Just southwest and within view of the new construction is Staten Correctional Facility built in the 70s. To the southeast is Elmore Correctional Facilities built in 81. Both those prisons, along with Kilby Correctional Facility near Montgomery, are supposed to close within a year of opening both the new and yet to be named prisons in Elmore and Escambia Counties. That's according to the 2021 law. St. Clair County Correctional Facility is also supposed to close at a time determined by the Department of Corrections per the law. The current prison intake rate and the drop-off in paroles could make those requirements difficult to meet. No shit. The two new prisons were always meant to be replacement beds, not additional beds in the system. But as of February, there were 20,419 inmates across Alabama's prisons. That's 2,555 more than when lawmakers approved the construction plan. And those existing prisons were built to hold a combined 12,115 men and women. Those numbers caught the attention of Representative Jim Hill of Odenville earlier this month at the Prison Oversight Committee meeting, right, where they got St. Clair at up there. Quote, If we have more people in today than we have the capacity to handle, how do we close facilities that hold 5,000 to 6,000 people? Hill asked Ham. Quote, it's quite the conundrum, isn't it? Ham replied. Hill said laws can be changed. The Elmore and Escambia County prisons were phase 1 of the 2021 law. There's also a phase 2, a new women's prison to replace Julia Tutwiler Prison, also in Elmore County, and renovations or reconstruction of men's facilities in Limestone and Jefferson counties, and the renovation or replacement of either Bullock Correctional Facility in Union Springs or Ventress Correctional Facility in Clayton. But the legislation didn't direct funding for those projects and says a committee of legislative budget leaders can determine when phase 1 is 70% complete if the state has the capacity to borrow money for phase 2. If so, when those are 75% complete, there will be an evaluation of existing men's facilities to see if others need to be replaced. Hill last week told us that some prisons certainly need to close, and he wants St. Clair, which is in his district, shattered. Quote, it doesn't help my county, Hill said, and I've seen firsthand the trouble that's generated out of it. In January, a St. Clair inmate whose family testified in mid-December about the violent conditions in Alabama's prisons was discovered unalive. It has been one of the most deadly prisons in a violent system. Ham compares the prison system to a bathtub in that the Alabama Department of Corrections doesn't control the faucet or the drain. The level in 2026 could depend on what the legislature does to increase and decrease it. The department is now trying to estimate 2026 populations based on current trajectories. It begs the question, if populations keep rising, how will the department close existing prisons? Quote, that's going to be a question for the Department of Corrections, the governor's office, and legislative leadership, Ham said. Shit, that's you, ain't it? One of them, Chambliss, said it's too soon to say what or won't happen with current prisons or what possible changes to law might be needed. The opening of the new Elmore site is at least 2 years away, and the Escambia site, for which state leaders are still solidifying funding after Elmore's price increase, will be several years behind it now. Quote, some are just going to have to close. We don't have a choice, Chambliss said. The committee outlined in the law will make recommendations on existing facilities, but that's still years down the road. The Escambia prison construction was delayed when Elmore ate up the lion's share of the funding outlined in 2021. Escambia County is in Albritton's district, and he said state leaders are working feverishly to secure the money. Several $100 million were in the budgets passed by the Senate this month. Quote, things are moving a whole lot slower than we want this to occur, Albritton told us. As far as which ones are going to close and which ones aren't, we can't even address that until we know how much we've spent on Elmore and Escambia, and then start looking at what the conditions are and which is taking the most crucial precedent of where we go. Man, quote, less important than what we're going to be closing is how we deal with what we have left, unquote. And there y'all have it, man. That's what's up, getting rid of that dorm, man. You know what I'm saying? That's probably about like the only positive I could see, like, to keep down assaults and stuff like that. But other than that, man, this is a mess. You done got the other prison pushed back because this prison done almost doubled in price, and now these folks and this and that. This crazy, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section, man. More than a prison, huh? Mental health. That's what's up for the mental health, you know what I'm saying? But it ain't gonna do no good if we ain't got no actual health care. Beds is great. Separate them folks, great, but you know what I'm saying? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section, man. Appreciate the birthday wishes. Channel Inception anniversary. Y'all know what's going on, man. Cash App, PayPal, DC The Voice, Alabama Prisoner Profiles.